Is it just a question of when this happens, not if? And the reason I say that, I think it's an awful idea. I'd hate to see it. Mm-hmm. But just with the amount of money involved with sport now and football and Saudi, they're ploughing millions and billions into the game. Do you think it's just irrelevant of what we think? I know a lot of clubs have come out, mine being one of them, have poo-pooed it, but ultimately everything's about money, right? It pains me to say it, but it is. If they throw billions and billions at football clubs, they're going to say yes, right?
I think. Listen, I think you're probably right. That is probably a matter of if. Well, not even if, when it's going to happen, because the money is what's not the most important thing, but it's the one that seems to drive everything forward. I think the biggest thing from before with the fans, it was the uproar, was that it was like a members only club. Like once you were a member of that club, that was it. You're there all the time, and I think that's what a lot of people get so angry about, the competition, grassroots. Like it was almost like, well, how do other clubs get involved? But I guess it's something to rival the Champions League. But I'm sad when you heard, obviously, the little package there. Them talking about, because I said to you off air, well, hold on, if this does happen, what happens to things like the League Cup? There's just not enough time to get the League Cup involved, play your Premier League games, this competition as well. It's just not enough time. And I was saying, well, what happens to the League Cup? If that goes, it shouldn't go because of the lower league clubs. But then, again, as Joe was saying there, it just becomes another Papa John's or Johnson Paint Trophy. Do you know what I mean? So it's not ideal, but it doesn't surprise me. The more money that's behind this, eventually they'll get it over the line.
I think the ruling's really interesting, actually, because I think other sports could, having seen where this one goes, could follow suit. I know snooker players want to break away and play.
You said that, yeah.
In various events that aren't backed by the WPBSA, the governing body.
Is that because they earn more money?
Because they can get more money playing somewhere else, and that means they'd miss out events that are in the snooker calendar, and thus making their brand weaker. And that's, I think, the problem the Premier League have got, is that if we get to a stage where you do have this European Super League and they're playing, I think there's a minimum, you'll have to play a minimum of 14 extra games per year. I say minimum because obviously my guess would be that the further you go in the competition, the more games you play. Mm-hmm. But my worry would be, if I owned the Premier League, would be that your brand becomes weaker, because if you've got a club like Man City or Manchester United or Arsenal or whatever, and they've got a big game midweek up against whoever, from
Bayern Munich,
right, in the Super League, and if they get through, it means they win £500 million. Yeah. Will their game in the Premier League, will they field a team of nobodies?
And that sounds crazy to think, because you talk about the Premier League. I know it happens at times, depending on who you're playing, but it happens very, not very often, is it?
No.
But you're right. If you've got a big game in this Super League in the midweek, and you're playing maybe a lesser team in the Premier League, all of a sudden, you're right, they start fielding kids.
Yeah. And people say that won't happen. But people said that wouldn't happen in the 80s with the League Cup.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it has happened in the League Cup.
Of course.
It's sort of happened in the FA Cup as well now.
Yeah, getting watered down.
Yeah.
But also as well now, the Champions League with the new format, it's like, well, I definitely think at some point they'll get something over the line. I don't want to see the Premier League watered down. I like the Champions League the way it is. I mean, I think I read here saying, what is it, a star, a gold and a blue.
Yeah, 3 different leagues, yeah.
So I'm guessing it, depending on where you finish in the Premier League, you got what, like how, so if you finish bottom of the blue, which is the last one, you drop out of it completely.
I would imagine. We don't know the sort of logistics of it yet. There's going to be the Star, the Gold and the Blue League. The Star and the Gold will have 16 clubs each. The Blue League will have 32.
Yeah, so if you're bottom of the blue, you get out, and then...
I would imagine that be the case.
So it's complicating it again, and it's just...
But the problem is, as I said, it all goes back to money. The people that make the decisions, the people that run Manchester United, right? If someone says to them, do you want to come? And they go, no, we think European Super League is... Okay, well, you personally be £1 billion better off. Will I? So with the club will be £5 billion. Will it? Everyone will get more money. Do you want to be in? It's very difficult to turn that down. Yeah, it's just sad, because obviously then what happens to the Champions League, that obviously would have to go. Yeah. Let's speak to you, the football fans. We'll take calls now, and when we come back, 0371 722 3344. Stuart is a Man City fan. Hi, Stuart.
Hey, pal, you okay? It's David, mate.
Is it? What's your name? David?
David, yeah. Sorry, mate, yeah.
Who put Stuart on there?
Why did... Oh, someone say no. Someone's actually waving at me saying, no, your name is Stuart.
No, it's David. All right.
Okay.
I must have it wrong.
Okay. Well, can we call you Stuart? Go on, Dave. I'm only playing. Go on, Dave.
I think eventually... I think it's got legs, the Super League. I think it did last time with some tweaking of the rules. And I think eventually they will get it all the line. But I think eventually the Premier League will cease to exist as a competition eventually. It's not going to go on forever, is it? It's been going 30 years, mate. It's had a good run, the Premier League. It's had some great moments.
But don't you think, Dave, that we've got the best teams and players collectively, not the best player, in the world, and so everyone else wants a piece of our league? Why should we dissect our league so everyone else can be happy?
Yeah, well, you've got to remember, though, the Premier League, really, the reason it's had these great moments is because football fans have allowed billionaire owners to come in, take over these football clubs and spend huge amounts of money on some of the best players in the world. Long before the City money and the Chelsea United were doing, they brought Varane over, and then the Chelsea money came, now the City money. So these owners who've got these football clubs, they've got every right to think, well, hang on a minute, we'll go and take our team and play in a different competition where we can make more money. Who am I to tell them?
See, I don't think they do have every right. I think the football fan, football fan. No, hold on, hear me out, Dave. I think the football fan owns the club, right? The football, the club belongs to the fan. I just see whoever owns it is a tenant, and they will one day sell up and sell it to someone else. It's never really their club; it's our club, right?
Well, I don't know. If you go to the solicitors and see the paperwork, I think you'll find it say they own it.
I know they do on paper, but you understand what I'm saying.
Well, exactly. Then, yeah, but I know what you're saying. You're letting your heart and all that and the romance of it take over. That went a long time ago, mate. It went a long time ago. All that, football now. It's gone from being, when I was watching City in the 90s, right? There was a trinkle of foreign players, not many. We had King Clancy at City. An absolute god, I thought he was brilliant at the time. Klinsmann at Tottenham. And now, obviously, you're all 10 years from the early 90s, and it's like littered with foreign players. And it's slowly become a monster, the Premier League. Where now it's just too big, mate. It's becoming a global sport.
I get that. I get that.
You've got Japanese fans there, Norwegian fans there. It's becoming a global phenomenon. So,
I know, but Dave, at the moment, the Premier League works, right? And if you get a competition such as the European Super League with 64 teams in it, you're going to get quite a lot of dross in it, okay? And there will be games on a Wednesday where Dave, the Man City fan, has to go away to Real Betis. Is that a game you want to go and see?
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't go to as many games now because I see the game for what it is, right? But the fact is, when my dad was watching City in the 60s, right, he thought the First Division was brilliant. And when the Premier League was formed, he was like, I remember him telling me, I was a bit unsure about it. We love the old First Division. It seems to be a different winner of the league every 5 years. It wasn't dominated by one club for 10, 15 years. They loved it all. And then the Premier League came. Not all fans were on board with it. Some back then were a little bit unsure. But look now, just hear me out. And now the Premier League, it's like we can't live without it. It's like, it's this fantastic league. But what was if the Super League takes off and you win $1 billion if you win that league or something mad with a big gold cup? Well, then it sort of takes on a bit more significance, doesn't it? Fans will start and turn up. All these fans who are coming out saying, I'm not going to go and support my club, football's dead to me. When they've got a game on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday tea time, big kick-off, Man United versus Real Madrid, they'll be there at Old Trafford.
But the big difference between when the old First Division finished and the Premier League started, it was just a rebrand. There was no difference. There was not like 4 points for a win or new teams came in. It's the same sides that were in it.
Yeah, but it still kind of got rebranded in a way. I know this is different in terms of the rules, but look, the way I look at the Super League, I think the Premier League's had a great run. It's been at the top for 30 years. And eventually, everything comes to an end, Andy. You've got to accept it. Nothing lasts forever in this world. If I lived another 100 years, the Premier League won't be here in 100 years. It'd be something else. It's just a matter of fact. Everything has a price. Everything's on there. Whether you're a footballer, right, or if you're an actor, or whatever in life, or if you've got a property that's selling, everything has got a price, right? And all these fans coming out now saying, I'm not going to go, they need to start to look at the bigger picture, because football's going to go through a different stratosphere in the next 25 years, 30 years, when the AI starts getting involved and all that cobblers.
Do you know what someone's put here?
Thanks, Dave. Great call, by the way, Dave.
But
thanks.
Money comes from the fans. Fans don't want it, so there is no money. But that's naive, because that's not the case anymore. Them days are not. It's not the case anymore.
No.
talkSPORT Drive. Super opinionated sporting debate. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.